Hi students, this is Madhu Dharmapuri. In this present video lecture, I would like to discuss about the magnetic field produced due to a solenoid. So I would like to find out the magnetic field produced by it on the axis of it. Okay, so before we find out what is its magnetic field on the axis of the solenoid, let us try to know about what is solenoid first. Okay, solenoid is nothing but a wire wound like a closely spaced spiral over a non-conducting cylindrical core. For example, if you imagine a non-conducting cylindrically shaped tube, on that this wire is wound like helix. You can see the picture here. This is the solenoid. This is how the solenoid looks like. This is a cylindrical core which is non-conducting material over which a wire is wound like helix. Okay, so this is a wire wound like helix which is connected to a battery with the help of a switch. Right? So why it is connected to a battery? Because if that is connected to battery, some current will flow through it, and if some current is flowing through the solenoid, then we know that every current is a source of magnetic field, and similarly this will become a source of magnetic field if this switch is on. The current is flowing through this wire, the current is flowing through this solenoid, definitely it would act like a magnetic field source. This can be confirmed by using simple experiment. As I said, the magnetic field is produced by this current carrying solenoid. Means this is acting like a magnet. If this is acting like a magnet, how it is? You can just simply perform one simple experiment to know that this is acting like magnet. A solenoid through which I current is flowing is acting like magnet. For example, if you can simply suspend this solenoid through which current is flowing like this with the help of some thread or anything, if you can suspend it, that solenoid will automatically orient in the direction of north-south, just like magnet does. So if you suspend a solenoid carrying current, that solenoid will rest in the north-south direction, just like magnet does. If you change the polarity of the battery, which means that the current direction is reversed in the solenoid, in this case, if you again suspend this solenoid after reversing the current in it, the solenoid will rotate through 180 degrees like this, which means the poles of the solenoid, which is acting like a magnet, are now interchanged because of the current direction reversing, which means the direction of current is very important here. Direction of current is deciding the pole of this solenoid, which is acting as a magnet. So how do we identify the poles of this solenoid if this is acting like a magnet? This can be done with the help of clock face rule. What is clock face rule? The clock face rule is like, if you see this solenoid from this side, if you observe, the current direction is in the clockwise direction like this. It is coming out from the top and entering in the bottom like this. From this side, if I see, the current seems to be in the clockwise direction in this particular case. So clock face rule tells that the side from which the current seems to be in the clockwise direction, the side from which the current seems to be in the clockwise direction is south pole. That means for this particular solenoid where the current direction is as shown here, if I look from this side, this seems to be clockwise direction, the current direction, then this would be south pole according to clock face rule. And obviously, if I see from this side, the current seems to be in the anti-clockwise direction, and this would be north pole. For this particular current direction I am talking about. If this battery polarity is reversed, the current direction will get reversed and south and north pole will get reversed. But still it is acting as a magnet. Whatever the direction of the current flowing through it, it is acting as a magnet. Only thing is, north and south poles are interchanging. Right? So this is how the solenoid carrying current behaves like a magnet and produces magnetic field around it. If it is producing magnetic field around it, how much it is and what is the direction of it? That is what we are going to find out in this lecture. Particularly, we are going to find out the magnetic field in the interior of the solenoid, that is inside this cylindrical core, in the interior of the solenoid, that too on the axis of it. The axis, here you can see this dotted line which is passing through the center of this solenoid is called as the axis of solenoid. And our aim here is to find out the magnetic field at a point on the axis of it. Okay, so to find out it, first let me consider one solenoid through which I current is passing, like this, and its length is L. Remember, so we will do this in two cases. The first case is the solenoid with finite length. Then we will discuss about solenoid with infinite length. The solenoid with finite length L I have considered, and the radius of that solenoid is small a. Okay, so radius of the solenoid is small a. You can see what is the radius. And number of turns in this solenoid I am considering as capital N, because the wire is wound like helix on this cylindrical core, which is non-conducting. There are so many number of turns, we don't know how many. So for example, I am considering there are n turns wound like helix. Okay, so total number of turns is capital N. Then the number of turns per unit length, this is very important term. Number of turns per unit length means in one unit length how many turns are there, that I am taking it as n equal to capital N by small l, total length of it. I have considered a solenoid of finite length L, and there are total n number of turns are there, and small n represents the total number of turns per unit length of that solenoid. This is very important. In one unit length, how many turns are there in this solenoid? That is what n tells you, small n, which has lot of importance. Okay, so using this description, now we will find out the magnetic field on the axis of the solenoid at a point. Okay, so this is a solenoid. I am just trying to give you some enlarged picture of it. So these dots represent the direction of the current here. If you see the above picture, the current direction is in the it is coming out from the top and entering into the solenoid at bottom. This is like this. It is coming out from the top and entering from bottom. You will see. Okay, this represents the current direction, right? And if this is the axis of it, which is passing through the center, and I would like to find out the magnetic field at some point P on its axis. Okay, so for that what I would do is, I will consider a small segment, a small element of this solenoid with length dx. What is the total length of solenoid? Here I have taken small l. Out of that small l, I will consider dx length solenoid, the small piece of solenoid whose length is dx. Okay, so for example, if I take this as dx, so this is A, let me take it as some O, and distance between O and P is x, and from dx to P it is like R. Let me take this as theta. Okay, so this distance is usually from current element or length element to the point where we are finding the magnetic field. The distance we usually take as small r from Biot-Savart law. Small r is what? The distance between the point and the length element or current element. So here our length element or current element is here. So from there to the distance point P, to the point P, the distance is smaller. And this is A that we have taken. Right? So this is dx length that I have taken. This I am taking it as some d theta, small angle d theta, which means in the dx length we may have any number of turns. This is dx like this. Okay, so from that on this axis, this is P, this is X, this is like d theta and this is like theta. Okay, so this is how you can see this. Because we have so many number of turns on the solenoid, out of that I have taken small segment, that is this. Okay, now if in 1 unit length n turns are there, small n, number of turns per unit length, then in dx length, which we have taken a small segment whose length is dx, n dx turns will be there. Okay, so similarly, if I is the current, in each element, each coil, in each turn you can say, in each turn, if I is the current in each turn, then in ndx turns, current will be, net current will be ndxi. In one turn, I current is there. In ndx turns, ndx into I current will be there, the total net current. And we know that the magnetic field produced on the axis of a circular coil or circular loop is this. This we have derived in one of our previous video lectures. If you have not watched it, please do watch it so that you will get an understanding how we have got this formula. The magnetic field due to current carrying circular coil on its axis is this. If there are only one term, mu naught I a square by 2 into a square plus x square, where a is the radius of that coil or loop and x is the distance of that point from the center of the loop. Distance of that point from the center of the loop. Just like this. This is O, this is X, this is the point P, this is A. The B at point P is mu naught I a square by 2 into a square plus x square whole power 3 by 2 if there is one turn in the coil. But if there are n turns in the coil, the formula will be this. N multiplied by this single term formula, mu naught Ni a square by 2 into a square plus x square whole power 3 by 2. This is the magnetic field produced by the N coil with N turns. Now if you use this formula for finding the magnetic field due to a small segment of this solenoid, the magnetic field due to small element of length dx, small element of length dx will be how much? dB equal to, here it is a vector, dB equal to how much according to this formula? How to apply this formula to here? If you observe this, a small segment of the solenoid is like a circular coil. Maybe one turn, maybe two turn, maybe any turn, any number of turns. Here, how many number of turns are present in the small segment of the solenoid? Ndx turns. What we have done, we have considered a small segment of the solenoid in which Ndx turns are there, so that the net current in that Ndx turns will be Ndx into I. Then accordingly, if there are n, each turn is like a circular loop. Here each turn is like a circular loop, right? So if each turn is a circular loop, if you consider one turn, the magnetic field due to that one turn on the axis of that will be this. If there are n turns, the magnetic field due to that n turns on the axis of it will be this. Then here, in the small segment of the solenoid whose length is dx, there are ndx turns, and every turn is like a circular loop in this segment, right? So in ndx turns, the magnetic field due to this small segment of solenoid in which ndx turns are there, or you can say the net current ndxi, you can use either this or this to write the formula for this. It will be mu naught ndx I a square by 2 into a square plus x square whole power 3 by 2. Just like here, you can say it is like small turns. They are very close to each other. It looks like they are different turns, they are separated by some distance, but they are not. They are very close to each other. Ndx turns are there in this. For example, if you take this, here it is 3 turns, like Ndx. Okay, so this is what, instead of capital N, what we have got? Small ndx. This capital N is for n turns, but here we are calculating the magnetic field due to ndx turns. How ndx turns? The turns present in the small segment of the solenoid whose length is dx, and small n is the number of turns per unit length. So this is what that. This is dB due to this. Now if I want the total magnetic field produced by this entire solenoid, because this is the magnetic field only due to the small segment of the solenoid, that is of dx length. If I want the total magnetic field produced by this solenoid of length L, then what should I do? I just have to integrate it. Okay? Total magnetic field due to solenoid. B equal to integral dB. Okay, so integral dB, okay. Then what are the limits that we should take here? Because I want the magnetic field due to all the turns. Okay, then how to take limits? For example, if I take only ndx turns, here you see theta and d theta. Now if I take from this place to this place, this will be like cross marks. This is the axis. So if I want if this is the point P, if I want the total magnetic field due to this solenoid, that means from here to here, the angles will be, the theta will be like, this is theta 1 and this is theta 2. From this edge to this edge. So they are in the same direction, you can say. I have taken these angles in the same direction. I have not taken theta 2 on that side and theta 1 this side. I have not taken like this. I have taken the angles on the same side. This is theta 1 and this is theta 2. Okay, so that means this will be, you can say, from theta 1 to theta 2. From this side to that side. Okay, so theta 1 to theta 2, mu naught ni and ndxi a square by 2 into a square plus x square whole power 3 by 2. Okay, we have taken limits theta 1 to theta 2. But where is theta in the formula? Where is theta in the formula? The theta you can write in the formula like using this. If you observe this triangle, this OP, this point, if this is some A and this is some B, OPB, from triangle OPB, you can say what is tan theta? From here, it will be A by X, opposite side by adjacent side. Okay, which means what is X? A by tan theta, or you can say A cot theta. Right? So from here, I can write what is dx. Dx will be minus a cosecant square theta d theta. cot theta differentiation minus cosecant square theta d theta. So this dx let us substitute in this formula so that we can get theta. Dx will be changed to d theta because our limits are theta 1 to theta 2. Okay. So what is b bar now? Integral theta 1 to theta 2 mu naught n I a square minus dx minus a cosecant square theta d theta by 2 into a square plus x square means what? A square cot square theta I can write in place of x square whole power 3 by 2. Okay. So b bar equal to, minus is out, I am putting every constant outside. So mu naught n I a cube by 2, on the numerator we will get cosecant square theta d theta by, if you take a square common it will be a cube again 1 plus cot square theta whole power 3 by 2. A square is taken common so that square with cancels with that by 2, so we will get a cube and 1 plus cot square theta whole power 3 by 2. Then this a cube and this a cube will cancel. We can write minus mu naught n I by 2. Sorry, I have to write limits also. Theta 1 to theta 2. Theta 1 to theta 2. Cosecant square theta d theta by 1 plus cot square is what? Again it is cosecant square theta whole power 3 by 2. 1 plus cot square, which is minus mu naught n I by 2 theta 1 to theta 2. This square will cancel with 1 by 2. So you will get cosecant square theta d theta by cosecant cube theta, which means we will get 1 by cosecant theta, theta 1 to theta 2, 1 by cosecant theta d theta. 1 by cosecant theta is what? Minus mu naught ni by 2 theta 1 to theta 2 sin theta d theta. Right? So what is the integration of sin theta now? What is the integration of sin theta? So this is B, the total magnetic field. B is now what? What is the integration of it? Cos theta. So minus mu naught ni by 2 integration of, let me take this minus inside, theta 1 to theta 2 minus sin theta d theta. What is its integration? Theta 1 to theta 2. What is minus sin theta integration? It is cos theta. Because cos Cos theta differentiation is minus sin theta. Minus sin theta integration will be cos theta. So what is the final formula? Mu naught Ni by 2 cos theta 1, cos theta 2 minus cos theta 1. This is the final formula of magnetic field produced by the total solenoid on the axis. Mu naught Ni by 2 cos theta 2 minus cos theta 1. What is cos theta 2? Theta 2 is on the edge of this side and theta 1 is on the edge of this side. The point P. The line from point P to that edge of solenoid is making an angle theta 2, and similarly the point P from to this edge of the solenoid, the line between point P and this edge of the solenoid is making an angle of theta 1 with the axis of the solenoid, that is theta 2 minus cos theta 2 minus cos theta 1. So you have to remember this. This is very, very important. What is this now? The magnetic field due to solenoid of finite length. Depending on the values of theta 1 and theta 2, this will change. Okay, so this so this is this. Then what is the direction of it? This is the magnetic field at this point P, that is fine, which is on the axis of the solenoid. What is the direction of it? The direction is very simple. If you see a circular coil like this, the current is coming out from the top and going inside from the bottom. Keep your thumb in the direction of the current. The magnetic field here is along the axis, and outside the solenoid is like this for the top one. From the bottom one, again the magnetic field is in the same direction along the axis. This is how it represents. I will show you a simple picture. For example, there is one turn here. The current is like this. How does the magnetic field looks like? It will be like this. The magnetic field will be like this. For this, here the current is coming out, here it is dot. For this, it is going in, the current is going in. Now what is the direction of magnetic field? Again like this. For this it will be again like a circular loop, like this. For this it is like this. Now if you see inside this solenoid, this part along this line, even if you take any number of turns, everywhere the magnetic field will be like this only. For this it will be like this. 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 But if you observe inside this solenoid, the magnetic field is always in this direction for this particular current direction along the axis. Then it is taking a turn like this on the top, and here it is coming like this from bottom. But inside they are taking the same direction. Okay, so this is how the magnetic field direction you can explain. So in the interior of the solenoid, the magnetic field is along the axis of the solenoid. Because we are finding the magnetic field in the interior of the solenoid at point P on the axis, if the turns of the solenoid are very very close, then the magnetic field inside this solenoid will be almost in the straight direction, that too along the axis of it. It will be like, let me show you one small picture showing the magnetic field lines. For example, this is the solenoid and the current direction is outwards from top and inwards from bottom. And the magnetic field will be like this for this particular direction. The field lines, you can say, in this way. They are coming out. According to the properties of the magnetic field lines, the magnetic field lines are always going out from north direction and they enter in south direction. This is north and this is south. In the beginning of this lecture, we have identified the poles like this, south and north, for this current direction. You can see from north they are going out and they will enter from here, like this. They will enter from here, and here also they will enter from here. The field. This picture is like this. Okay, so this is how the magnetic field lines or magnetic field direction can be predicted. That too using the current direction. If current direction is changed, and everything will be reversed. Okay, so this is about finite solenoid. The solenoid with finite length. Okay. And now we will see the second case where if the solenoid is having infinite length. Okay? So I need this formula so that I will keep it here. The B equal to mu naught Ni by 2 cos theta 2 minus cos theta 1. This I am going to use. And this picture also will help you to understand. So what is now the second one? Ideal solenoid I will take. What is ideal solenoid? Ideal solenoid is nothing but the solenoid with infinite length, that is, we can say L is greater than A. In comparison with the radius of that solenoid, the length of the solenoid is very big, very small diameter. Okay, and the turns are very close to each other. The turns in this are very close to each other, but they do not touch each other. Very close to each other, and they do not touch each other. Okay, so this is the formula for the magnetic field with finite length. Okay, so we use that formula for finding the magnetic field due to infinite length solenoid. This is called as ideal solenoid. Okay, now if this solenoid is infinite in length, then if I want the magnetic field in this special case, magnetic field at point P, you can say at center of the solenoid, at center of solenoid, which means P is at the center of the solenoid with infinite length. Okay, P is at the center and this length is infinite. This will be like, you can imagine a picture. This is like a very, you can say, I will draw it here. The solenoid is very, very infinite in length. This side it is infinity and this side it is infinity. And the turns are very close to each other. So on. The length is greater than A. Infinite solenoid. And P is at the center of it. P is at the center of it. Okay, if P is at the center, and if you write theta 1 and theta 2 values for this case, for example, if you take theta 1 this side and theta 2 this side, P is at the center. If you imagine this point is at infinity and this point is at infinity this side, it's a very long solenoid. So in that case, theta 2 will be becoming 0 and theta 1 will be 180 degrees. Very long. And here it is also very, very long. At the center of solenoid. Okay, so if you apply this to that formula, B bar will be how much? Mu naught Ni by 2 into cos 0 is 1 minus cos theta 1 is how much? Cos 180 is again minus 1. So 1 minus of minus 1 is plus 2, which means mu naught Ni. Mu naught Ni is the magnetic field at center of the solenoid whose length is infinity. Ideal solenoid, solenoid with infinite length. Diameter is very small and length is very high. Okay, so now we will see case number 2 in this ideal solenoid. Case number 2, magnetic field at any edge of solenoid on the axis. Magnetic field at any edge of the solenoid on the axis, which means the point P is, for example, if this is edge of the solenoid, the point P is somewhere here. And if point P is taken on this axis at this edge, theta 1 will be, theta 1 is for this edge and theta 2 is for that edge. and theta 1 for this edge will be this. This will be theta 1 now. From this like this theta 1, and for that edge theta 2. So theta 1 will be 90 degrees and theta 2 will be, we can say, 0 degrees. Theta 1 90 and theta 2 is 0. Now if you apply this, what happens? Theta 1 is 90. We will get B bar equal to mu naught Ni by 2. Cos theta 2 is cos 0, that is 1, minus cos 90 is 0. So which means we will get B bar equal to mu naught Ni by 2 at this point. At center of the solenoid, this. At the edge of the solenoid, this. Now if you observe, the magnetic field at a point on the axis at any edge of the solenoid is 1/2 of the magnetic field at a point where it is the center of the solenoid on the axis. So this will be half of it. This is very, very important. Okay, so in the case of ideal solenoid, we have taken two special cases. The center of the solenoid is how much magnetic field, at the edge of the solenoid how much is the magnetic field. Both are on the axis of the solenoid. And this is half of this. At the center it is mu naught Ni, at the edge it is mu naught Ni by 2. Which means at the center the magnetic field is large than at the edge. Okay, and this is the general formula for if you consider the finite length solenoid, which is extended to an ideal solenoid, so that the limits theta 1 and theta 2 are changing accordingly. We have to remember this formula so that we can apply it to the infinite length solenoid. Then how does the magnetic field lines looks like in the case of ideal solenoid? Because the turns are very, very close to each other. The turns are very close to each other in this solenoid, and the radius is very small than its length. And inside solenoid you can find like very, very small radius. Magnetic field direction is always and this is the axis of it. This is infinite. This is infinite. A is very, very small and L is very, very large. This. So in this case, the magnetic field lines will be like, because the turns are very, very close to each other, the magnetic field in the interior of the solenoid is always straight, and that too in the direction of the axis of the solenoid. The magnetic field lines will be very, very straight like this. This is south, this is north, okay, that is fine. But they are straight. The magnetic field lines are straight, parallel, and equidistant. In interior of solenoid. This is very, very important. And outside solenoid, magnetic field is assumed as 0. Because it is very, very smaller in diameter, the magnetic field in the outside, that is here or here, it is assumed as 0. And inside, because the turns are very close to each other, the magnetic field produced by each turn is in the same direction. And they join together so that the vector sum of the magnetic field due to each turn in the interior of the solenoid is along the direction of the axis. That too straight, parallel and equidistant. But outside it is assumed as 0 because of its smaller diameter. Entire magnetic field is here and it is little far away from it. So this is south and this is north. These points are very, very important. Okay, so in both cases the magnetic field inside is along the axis. But if the solenoid is infinite in length, the magnetic field lines are straight, parallel and equidistant in the interior of the solenoid. And outside the solenoid, the magnetic field is considered as 0 because of its smaller radius. But for finite length, you cannot assume the magnetic field outside 0. And also the magnetic field lines are little curved in the interior of the solenoid. Because of the spacing between the turns of the solenoid. But in the case of ideal solenoid, the spacing between the turns is very, very small, negligible. They are very close to each other and length of the solenoid is very, very big in comparison with the radius of the solenoid. So this is how the magnetic field produced by the solenoid carrying current I can be found in the interior of the solenoid. And we have done this with the help of the formula of magnetic field due to a circular current carrying coil on the axis, which was derived using Biot-Savart's law. Because we have taken the help of the magnetic field formula for a current carrying coil which was derived by using Biot-Savart law, you can consider as this formula is also derived using Biot-Savart's law, or this formula is also derived using Biot-Savart's law. Okay, so this magnetic field due to solenoid can also be found using Ampere's law. That we will see in the another lecture. What is Ampere's law and how to make use of Ampere's law to find out the magnetic field due to the solenoid. That we will see in another lecture. Okay, so hope you have understood. If you have any doubts regarding this lecture, you can put your doubts under the comments section. Thank you.